Joining me on For Our Edification is Liz J. Springer, and she is a London-based business strategist. And okay, so here's the story. All right, first of all, I have to pat myself on the shoulder because Liz, this is my first international interview. I've never done one before.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Great. I'm glad to be
So
the first person as well.
thank you for being the first person to hang out with me over the pond, as people like to say. But so here's the deal. So I joined the Speaker Connections group on Facebook, right? And I'm trying to get my speaking career pumped back up and everything. I really want to get out there and do my thing. And I see that Liz does a cattle call for a podcast that she does and live streams that she does. I should say live streams. And so I answer it. And then, I was very fortunate enough to get a response from Liz and for her to accept me as one of her live stream guests. And really, that is something, Liz, that I have been over the moon about, because to be able to do an interview with someone internationally, that actually is a big moment for me. That's something I don't know. I've never been an international interview guest either. So that was very exciting for me. So thank you so much. I appreciate you.
You're so welcome, and I'm glad. I mean, it was great to actually have you on and share. So I'm kind of really pleased that that's done two things for you. So me as your first guest and international, and you also and I are also coming together as well. So that's awesome.
Liz, you are a busybody. You do a lot of stuff when it comes to business strategy. I was really fascinated, though, when we had our first conversation. One of the things you talked about is how challenging it's been for you, as far as having worked in private industry and then getting your own consultancy practicing going. But I want to start with the very basic thing. Talk about what it is that you do, because you do a lot, and why you were so drawn to the work that you do.
Okay, so first of all, I'm a business strategist, and I started my business as a management consultant, and I started actually working with the larger corporates. I'm also a mentor and a coach, and I help sort of small businesses to grow. And a lot of the thing is that as you go on, you develop some of these things from what clients actually want. And so I have an ex-TV background, and I'd had an idea to come up with a web TV. And a lot of that's sort of video and video coaching. So I also help people to create their message on video and to be able to present themselves in a way so that they are professional, but also, getting the nuts and bolts in of what it is they do in a short time.
Where do your clients come from? Because you have the privilege of coaching clients from a lot of different countries. So where are some of the places your clients have come from?
Africa, the Caribbean, Europe, US, obviously the UK. Yeah, and it's been, and I'm trying to think of Portugal, Germany, and it's been great to be able to have done this, particularly as I've been able to do it without the carbon footprint. So not only does that mean there's sort of more cash for me in the bag, but also in terms of time and energy and being able to, help people globally. I really get pumped about that.
All right. So when you and I talked, as I mentioned, you mentioned some of the challenges that you've had throughout your career. So talk about some of the challenges that you've had and how they have influenced who you are today, especially when it comes to how you work with people and serve people.
I think, okay, let's tackle some of the challenges. So I think, firstly, there's that point where I think as a female, sometimes you're looked upon as, and I do like to dress nice, and so sometimes it kind of looked as a little bit like the floozy. And I don't know if that's the same word here as it is over there.
Yes.
But so you can kind of get that sort of first impression, and I've had sometimes the men sort of challenging, what I do, in terms of, do I really do what I do and have the knowledge and the skills? So then when I start talking about what it is or talking about the problem or the challenge, they're kind of taken aback. And I think not being fazed by it. I come from a huge family and I'm one of 10 and I have 7 brothers. So for me, it's, I'm not fazed if it's sort of quite male dominated. And I've had to kind of maneuver my way around things where maybe they're trying to use some jargon, not knowing that I have a IT background. And so they might come and use some jargon. And then we kind of flip the whole script. Then I ask them, okay, I'm looking for these reports. And so I'm naming them and they're just like, oh my God. So then in the end, what happens is they come back to me to ask me, well, actually, I haven't done this before. I'm not sure what I need to do. So then it's kind of a little bit of psychology almost, that you kind of flip the script. Now let's get them coming back to you and begging to ask, okay, how do I do this? What do I need to do?
So there was this core, and we hear the same thing in the U.S. So there's this correlation between your being a woman and the way you dress and a lack of competency in the area. And so as you have dealt with that, one of the things that I often, and I hear the same types of things from my friends. I hear from my wife actually, and so have you found that you've had to have those moments to yourself when you've had to just kind of deal with it, however you deal with it? I don't know, screaming or whatever. And then you get yourself back together, you get back into wherever your workspace is, and then you deal with it the way you feel is most productive in that. I mean, do you need those moments to really deal with it yourself in whichever way you deal with it?
Absolutely. I mean, just as you mentioned about, having a scream, I remember there was an incident and I remember I'd actually dreamt about it the night before. And what happened was exactly what happened the next day. So it just showed me to deal with it in a different way. And I remember going to the ladies after this comment. I was going to the ladies and counting to 100.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Just to kind of bring me back into calm and then to stay professional, because that's the other thing as well. You can still deal with people and deal with them in a very professional way.
Yeah.
And like I said, I have a lot of brothers. And so I'm used to being around men. So when I need to be assertive, I absolutely do. And so it's very, I think it's one of those things where you also have to know yourself and stand up for who you are and what you know and what you're trying to do. Because I think that when people shy away from that, and again, it's about how you do that, it then also means that you can also be the person that they're picking on. But I like to diffuse